welcome to Krackpots We Met Downstairs, brought to you by Krackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio, with special thanks to Funny Noises Productions in Massillon, Ohio, and shout out to Dendamo's Unique Chocolates, which can be found at Krackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio. I am your host, Rebecca Marcoulin, and today I am with Andy Gunnin. Woo! Andy! Thank you so much for coming up and talking to me today.
Appreciate it. We don't have a second show, so why not?
Yeah, that's true. We didn't have such a show. But you did a first show, and you were awesome on that first show.
Thank you.
You just got off stage. We brought you up here for this interview.
Yep.
Tell me how you feel and describe the vibe.
Of what, tonight?
Yeah.
For the 10 people I did a show for?
Yeah, for everything. Everything.
It's fine. It's great. It's been such a weird year this year across the board, and, it is what it is. People are coming out, but it's getting, harder for people to come out and spend money.
Yeah.
It's people are tightening up. You see it everywhere. It's fine. It's nothing in particular, but I enjoyed it. Had a great time. I always have a great time when I'm here at Krackpots. Thanks, Chris Cutler and everybody who books me, and Shawnee and everybody here. I love it. This is like my second family. I feel like this is my second club family. And my first one is my home club at the Punchline in Atlanta where I started. So to have these two places are great. And I always enjoy being here. I don't care if it's 2 people. I'll do a show. I don't complain because nobody really knows who the hell I am. I'm not that famous, so I can't expect, but the fact that I do get booked here at Krackpots, the headline, and so I'm always grateful. So I'm always have a good time, and I love it, and I enjoy it. I always have fun, and so...
Yeah. I was told when I go up and perform, they say, hey, it doesn't matter how small the audience is. When you get up there, they're here to see you. So, that's your audience.
Right. And I don't misjudge that at all. It's just I've in a weird... This is just because the last time I was here was the big rivalry game that apparently is old as the day is long of the town. And there was a massive parade out here in front of before my shows. And everybody's everybody's at the games and all that. But again, I travel all over the country to do this. I've done shows for 2 people in Iowa where I made the owner and his girlfriend sit down and do the show so I could get paid. So I don't care. As long as I'm getting paid, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me. But I try to get the same show and same energy if it's 10 or 2, because those 10 that were here tonight, there were 2 people that have never been to a comedy show before. So I try to make it as intimate as possible, but I don't try to do crowd work and mess with them. It's just I'm going to give you this is how the show goes. Boom, 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 boom. Hopefully they had a good time, and that table bought a shirt, so they did have a good time and said they had a good time. So now they'll hopefully come back for someone who can have more people.
Or they'll come back to see you and bring their friends.
Or they'll come back
the next time you're headlining, they're gonna bring friends.
Maybe they'll bring friends. That's awesome. And so it's a building thing. It's one of those things you build. I'd rather build small than build fast and hot and fizzle out. If that makes sense.
I get that. I've heard the slow rise is kind of the best.
The slow rise is that's what always kind of freaked me out when I kind of started, because a couple buddies of mine took off really fast. And luckily they were able to keep up, but they had to put a lot of work in to keep up because they were so new, but they were able to do it and kept going and done great. Me on the other hand, I did not take off, which is fine because I've worked my ass off to build a solid set, build a solid reputation, and a reputation with club owners like Chris here and other clubs that see potential in me, we'll have you featured, we'll have you headline. And this year's my first year headlining. I did a few headlining shows last year, got tested, and then I passed those tests and people saw that, and now I've been featuring and headlining. So I'm getting to do both, which is great because now I can headline some bar shows, make a little extra money. When you headline, you make a little extra money, but then also go back to featuring, and you're just a stronger feature and a better feature because you're getting more time as a headliner, and then you're working those nuts and bolts out and figuring things out. And for me, I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing, which is building slow and surrounding myself and involved with people that are hey, we know nobody knows who you are, but we're going to support you, and here, we're going to give you these opportunities. And my job is to pass and be able to say, I gave the best show for 10 people, or 12 people, or 100 people, or 200, whatever it is. And I've been in front of those. And then when you go in front of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, it's even more exciting. But then it's weird because you're used to small crowds, and you're filling a lot of space. Then when you get with these bigger crowds, you're I can go slower because there's bigger laughs, and there's bigger, and so I've enjoyed it, and I enjoy the ride I'm on. Everybody's got their own path. Everything's different. So it is what it is, and I'm just excited and happy that I get to work with the people that I work with, and some pretty big comedians on big stages and at big clubs, and they know who I am. Just the rest of the world doesn't know who I am yet. So and that's fine.
Nice. Well, even more people are going to know who you are once this podcast goes live. They're all going to know.
Or they can check out my podcast. Anyway,
What's the most interesting thing that's happened at like a bar show? Or really
bar.
any show that you've performed?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. What is interesting or weird or what just...
Yeah, weird or interesting. I usually say the strangest thing. I'm trying to switch up the nomenclature a little bit, but
right,
just
yeah,
whatever.
I mean, there's so many there. I mean, I've not had any really crazy weird things during my sets at shows. I mean, I've had people like, argue with each other and stuff like that, but nothing really crazy. I'm trying to think, what's the craziest? Oh, geez, you would think I would have something off the top of my head out of all the shows I do. I'm really surprised how tame the audience are, even at some of the bar shows that I do. They're really very good. That nobody just really gets out of hand. But then again, I'm not really offensive, so I don't get people riled up, so that's a good thing. Although I've seen some people get riled up at the headliner when I featured and have come back, like one weird thing. So I was in Minnesota, up in the middle of nowhere, this little small town. I swear it's a small town. The smallest town, one of the smallest towns you've ever seen. Which I love small towns. It's great because people show up, they come out. We had 35 people, actually 45 people, packed this little bar out. And it was the first comedy show, and I did my feature set, had a great show, and I went back and I stood back the headliner's girlfriend who I knew. I knew the headliner, had just met his new girlfriend. He and I have worked together. So I decided to hang by her. This lady comes over because he said something, he made a joke about special needs and stuff like that. Her son was autistic, so she walks over to his girlfriend and starts yelling at her like, my son's autistic, blah, 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 blah. Just yelling at her. And I walked over and I said, the joke he made is about him, not about your son. And why are you over here bitching at this girl? She goes, well, she came in with him. I go, I don't care. Get your ass back over to the bar. Matter of fact, how about we just let you go? You just need to leave.
Yeah, wow.
And I'm like, whoa. But I've run into that. But nothing like, crazy, like people throwing up or bar fights, which would be cool. But
But like that's weird though. That's weird that he told a joke that
he was telling a joke and it was about him, and he just happened to say special needs. He didn't say anything like R word that offends everybody now or anything like that. He just said, and he was talking about himself, and she did not pick up. But that's the thing about bar shows. People get so drunk. Yeah. Actually, this past weekend, we had 15 people that were hammered on the front row. So I was featuring for my buddy Dougie down in Winter Haven, Florida. And these people were so drunk. This lady stood up and started yelling at her husband, and I'm like, sit down.
Oh my God.
And she was so blind drunk.
Wow.
Because I was talking about my jokes, said you're going to make an amazing ex-wife. I have a sticker, and it's part of one of my jokes. And they had been married 27 years, and I gave her the sticker because she was so drunk and unruly that he was dying laughing. He goes, you will make it. She stood up and goes, you effer.
Yeah,
I was
wow.
like, sit down. I'm not giving you the sticker. So she sat down, I gave her the sticker, and I ran off stage because I got up because I was done.
Yeah.
And then she got up when the headliner got up there and started yelling back at her.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my God. And this is at a club. This is at a club, just like here. This isn't a bar show.
Dang.
So anyways, I forgot about that. I don't know how I missed that. Anyways, so that's it.
It's okay. It's wild how people when they have a little too much to drink. They
were celebrating a birthday. They were pre-gaming hard. It was down in Winter Haven, Florida. The weather, it was on a Saturday, so everybody was drinking since noon.
Yeah.
It's 8:00.
It always fascinates me watching people when they maybe this might be a little weird, but I like watching drunk people just kind of like not like it messing with them or anything, but just observing how they behave and that kind of stuff.
I observe every audience when the comedians in front of me are up. Now I watch them come in. I'm always at the club early. I watch the crowd come in, see how they're doing, see how they're vibing with the host, the feature, whoever, and see what's hitting, what's not. So that way, and how drunk they are or not, so I can kind of either lean in or pull back, or I got to kind of kick glove this and push through a bunch of drunken mess and not entertain it and fall into the trap of entertaining them and then destroying
the rest of the audience
and the rest of the show because I'm trying to manage drunk chickens or handing it off to a headliner who's going, what the hell did you just do?
Yeah.
Like, it's your problem now.
Yeah. How do you find that balance, though?
I come from 30 years of sales, so I watch people and I watch people's actions, reactions, and so I was very good in sales, and I did theater and things like that, and I did shows, and I watched people, and I watched people's reactions because I used to bounce. So my whole life has been around watching people's reaction, how they react, eye contact, not drunk, and how to be able to talk them out of things. Like for so many years dealing with drunk people bouncing, you learn that early on in your 20s, like, okay, I can talk this drunk dude out of a fight real quick. And then I can or I can push and escalate it. So by having all those things from all the years of doing those things and sales and all that, I can read people. And then I can read audiences. And then you read the audience and go, okay, that's not going to work. That's going to drive them crazy. Or the guy before you says the F word and everybody pulls back and gets offended. You're like, okay, you can't say it, which I don't say it anyways, because that word just offends a lot of people. But I don't care. That's fine. But it is what it is. So I watch that because I know sensitive topics with crowds. And you're like, all right, I won't go that route. They don't like the abortion joke this guy just did. They hate it. The whole crowd came together and agreed they hated it. Okay, we'll avoid anything that has to do with that. It's taken me all my life to learn it, but I can learn it now and watch. And sometimes I miss, sometimes I hiccup, and I go, okay, y'all, well, I went this route because y'all didn't like this.
Yeah.
So I went this way. Well, and I'll point it out, and they'll go, oh, okay. And then sometimes when you do that, people go, the crowd itself because the crowd becomes a human. It becomes a one person, it becomes one entity. And sometimes I miss, sometimes I hit, but I'm able to watch when they come in, like, oh, these people are going to hammer, they're going to be a problem. Ignore them. Don't make eye contact. When I tell my jokes, tell them this way. Kind of go this way, but don't acknowledge because sometimes it'll rile them up. So you watch those things as people come in. And if you have a good club and people that watch, like, here where the feature team members say, hey, man, XYZ, this is the people, first time at a show, these people, blah, 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 it's like, or, hey man, this table's really hammered, I'd avoid it. Cool, thanks. But I try to watch and do all that myself before I get up there, if I can. And if not, if I'm hosting, I'll just get up there and figure it out.
Yeah.
So.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So
that's a lot of.
There's a lot that goes into comedy. How do you just get up there and telling jokes? You've got to read the audience. And there's times where I look like tonight. I was like, all right. I was playing with them with this one joke that's where, and they weren't liking it. And then I was like, all right. And I just said, nope. I rewound it and said, y'all just getting my good stock A stuff. I'm going to go to 45. We're going to be done. You're not going to get this for this. I'm like, y'all aren't in a playing mood with me. So cool. I'm just going to go here and we're going to do this material and be done. And I didn't phone it in, but I'm just going to do this. I'll steer away from this because it kind of made these people feel uncomfortable. And 9 people, you can figure out real fast. Well, it made this table uncomfortable. I don't want to make them uncomfortable. It's only 9 of us, 10 of us. So I'm just going to go do my normal stuff that I know makes everybody happy and everybody's cool, and I'm just going to do that and be done and have a good show.
It's awesome that you have enough material to kind of switch out and swap and.
You have to.
Yeah.
You have to, and that's the hard part. And a lot of guys that start getting into these things. And I try to develop material very meticulously, not just develop material just to have material. And all material can go together or not. And you need that because there are those times where people will tune out. And if all you got is 5 or 10, and you're up there to do 5 or 10, and that's all you got, and you can't adjust because they're not with you, and they're just there. I mean, when you headline, you're doing 45 to an hour. My bar shows, under my contract, I have to do an hour because they're 2-man shows. Club shows, they want you to do 45. So you got to have that to be able to adjust and go, okay, they don't like those subjects, or geez, I can go in on this a little bit more graphic or adult stuff. Or I need to go cleaner because they're not responding to this guy in front of me. They are not into sex or they're not into whatever. So yeah, you've got to have that to be able to switch. And then sometimes it misses. You're like, okay, y'all weren't into that. My bad. Let's go this route. I think right now I've got over 2 hours, somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 hours. I've tried to figure it out, but I can't because I keep running out of time before I have done all my material. The longest I've done, I did a 1-man show for an hour and 20 minutes and didn't run out of material and just pulled the plug because I was like, it's been an hour and 20 minutes. I'm I'm done, But I was like, and that way I've got stuff, and plus that way it makes it fun for you. So that way you kind of go, okay, I don't want to do this bit again. I want to see if this works with this. And you interchange them and have fun. And have fun with yourself. Because as long as you're having fun, they're going to have fun.
Right.
So you can't do the same thing, because then eventually you're like, man, I'm doing the same set over and over. I just want to get rid of this and do something new. But then you're like, well, this sells shirts. So I got to make it fun for me, you know. So you really got to develop, because you can stand it for 10 minutes and not get one laugh. And you should have switched out a joke somewhere when you realized they weren't going down that path. Or you just realize, hey, that 10 minutes sucked. I better write some more shit.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was the audience. Sometimes it's not the audience. Sometimes it's you. That's
Yeah.
what you got to figure out. It's very interesting. It never stops.
Yeah, I heard what you're saying about sometimes it's the material and the audience. I've had sets go great for one crowd, and the other crowd, there was like, maybe I got like a chuckle or two.
Well, I figured out now when I look at the crowds and where I'm at. I look at the region, the area, and I know what works fairly well in most regions and areas now, because I've been all over the country. And I've missed sometimes. But I kind of know the areas, like, okay, I can get away with this here. I can push on this. This button they like for me, like, you go to someplace like in Michigan and Wisconsin, they like for you to poke at them. They like, every audience likes for you to come at them. So I try to find something to poke at them and go after them versus just telling my stories and my bits and my jokes. I kind of make it personal and go and poke at them because they like that. But then you kind of come back, because then they get so riled up, and then all of a sudden you're managing drunk chickens.
Yeah.
That won't calm down.
Yeah.
So you learn those things, like, okay, this area I can poke at them, because they really like when you poke at them in Michigan and Wisconsin, and, and versus just, some places like, we just want to hear you talk, funny boy. know, and they just sit there. And, you got to look at the type of folks, are they farmers, or they're down-to-earth, hardworking folks, or are they office people, or they, that guy looks like he works in an office, this guy looks like he's in HR, you have to be able to read and see people. And not judge them, okay? You're not judging, you're just saying, okay, this person looks like they're kind of uptight. And it looks like, and sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you're like, okay, I don't need to say anything dirty or talk about sex around them. And then all of a sudden they're the nastiest. They're like, I want it dirty. And I'm like, what the? Like, they start going, and they're like, whoa. So, because my whole thing is I'm not trying to offend people. I'm not trying to get people to vote a different way or think a different way. I'm just trying to make people laugh and talk about the same stuff we all deal with and make everybody cohesive. And I love talking about my stepdaughter. I love talking about my new wife. I love talking about all the things that are going, because I have some of the craziest stories that have come, since my second marriage. But we all deal with the same things. We all have, that's where the common thread I try to run down and push. But I'll see and I'll grab people and say, I wouldn't do this joke if I was you, because you might offend that table over there.
That's awesome that you can pinpoint it, and then you also are cool enough to let other people know too.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, that joke, you try it.
In my experience.
But I'm just saying, dude, you can be surprised. And that's sometimes where you go, okay, and if you read that, you can kind of twist your joke around and go, okay, I was going to talk about this, but y'all look like I would offend y'all if I talk. And they'll just go, oh yes, please offend us. Like, okay.
Interesting. So you just acknowledge that you might get offended, and then they'll be okay with it.
Oh yeah.
But you have to give them a warning.
Especially, yes. Yeah. No, that's like my little Bud Light joke. I still do after 2 years. I poke in there because it's universal, but it works everywhere. But everybody still reluctantly laughs at it. But I'm like, look, I've done this everywhere. Everybody has approved this joke from every community. Doesn't matter. I've gotten a thumbs up, so it's funny. And they go, oh, okay, cool. It's like, stop. But then there's a lot of times you'll have crowds that look at each other and they go, look, if y'all are thinking because you'll do some shows in some small towns like American Legions or some things like that, where everybody's in there and you realize everybody goes to church together, and it's like they're going to judge each other for laughing at your joke about, your wife, because they're all going to see each other at church that day. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you just have to roll and do it. And then when you realize that, go, all right, well, I'm just going to do this and go burp, 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 do my time and get gone.
Yeah.
I ain't going to get full.
So here at Krackpots, we met downstairs. We know a lot of interviews tend to ask the same questions over and over again. So I'm going to try to ask you a question that you haven't been asked before. I'm going to see if I can do it.
Okay.
All right. So when was the last time that you heard the best pitch for the worst idea?
Best pitch for the worst idea. That's usually me. I'm usually the one giving the best, because I can pitch the hell, because I'm a sales guy.
Yeah.
I can pitch the best, worst ideas ever. I don't know. I'm usually the one that instigates.
What was your best pitch for the worst idea?
I don't know. That's a broad spectrum, though, too.
Yeah.
A broad spectrum. That's really is. Well, I mean, I get pitched stuff for shows all the time. Like, hey, will you come do a show, outside? Or no. And it's like, or, hey, let's do a show at a dog. No. I've done shows at dog parks. Like, it's not a good idea. Yeah. We did them. They were fun. I don't know the best pitch for the worst idea. I mean, I watched Shark Tank a lot, so.
What's the worst thing you've seen on Shark Tank?
I don't know. There's so much. I mean, there's so much stuff on there. It's crazy. I usually catch the ones I'm like, dude, that's a hit. And then they walk away and become millionaires because they tell them to F off and they end up, you end up seeing it everywhere. So I don't know. Because I'm the one that usually like, hey, here's what we're doing. We're going to go here. We're going to get hammered. We're going to do this.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, sounds great. And you're like, this is a bad idea. I know, but I'm in it. I'm the one that comes up with that.
But I gave it the best pitch.
I do. I can talk to anybody just about anything. I'm like, no, I can sell it.
That's quite the superpower, though.
Well, it's for sales. It's been in sales for 30 years. I did it my whole life. My dad was in sales and building material sales, and then I did it. I was a waiter. I had 3 different companies. I ran a pest control company with a partner, sold it, then went back to work selling building material and then selling flooring. I mean, but that's what this business is. What people don't realize, being a comedian, you're a salesperson 24/7. You're a server, so you need to read your tables, you need to read your audience, how to upsell. All this stuff is stuff that I've learned my entire life, from waiting tables, serving people, upselling, to being in negotiations over millions of dollars and $40 million hospitals and different things like that. Now I'm just arguing over $100 or 40, whatever, in stage time. And it's like, it's all negotiating. And it's all being, and if you can talk business, you can negotiate, you can do pretty much anything, but you got to read the room. You got to read the people. You got to read the owner. Is it a bad time? You got to read, what's going on in the room with the waiters and the bartenders and all that. And I've become friends with them before I become really friends with the owners, because they'll get you into the club before going directly to the owner because they like you. That's how I used to sell building jobs. I deal with the secretaries and the girls in the counter. I'm like, what do y'all know? Oh, they'll tell you everything you need to know. It's like, here's what's going on. And that way you know how to approach the head honcho when you go into something. You got all the information. It's all sales. Everything you do in this business and comedy is the same thing I did for 30 years selling building materials. No different. It's just different amount of money and different thing. I'm still selling a product. I'm selling me. I'm like, I can deliver this if you just put me up there, Because when you buy things, when you sell things, you get the customer, which is, you're trying to sell yourself to a comedy club. You're going to get either price, quality product, or service. And typically you only get 2 of those 3. So you got to figure out what of those 3 that I'm going to take a lower pay, but I'm going to give you a good product. Or I'm going to give you really good service, So there's all that in play there. So you realize that when you're dealing with it, because some places may not pay you as much, but you're going to give, so that all that comes into play. So you have to be able to take those things and realize it, and then put them in a package to say, like, hey man, look, I know you don't pay a lot here at this club. That's cool. I'm going to come give you a great show. I want to do your club. Here's what I'm willing to do. And they're like, this is what we do? Okay, I can do that. And it's like, it's that simple. And then you just be quiet and be like, then they have no reason to say no. Or, it's like, so that's just, anyways, I'm rambling.
That's awesome though. Wow.
It's all a business. Everything's a business. Everything is really simple. It's all sales. And if comedians and people realize everything you do is the same thing over and over, it's just a different thing. It's no different than selling paper, building material, or selling yourself as a comedian. It's all a business because the business owner is buying you for an X price and he's expecting X. So if he's paying X, he's not going to get a great product, or you're going to give him a great product for a cheap price, but then you're going to turn around and then resell him that product at a higher price because you did a good job the time before. Does that make sense?
I get it.
Sometimes you just say, no, I'm not going to drop my pants for $50 and I'm not doing that. I will say no. I've said no many times for shows. My wife wanted me to do a free show for her company. I said, no, unless there's a comment in it. No, I'm not doing a show for your company for free. That's selling myself short. Now, just starting out, yeah, you got to do those free shows, but now that I'm established and I'm like, I got to get paid X amount. I'm on the road. This is full time. And then sometimes you do take a free show because you're like, okay, what's my benefit here? Okay, I'm going to get in front of this club owner. I'm going to get in front of this person. You got to be able to look at it, juice is worth the squeezing. Not every stage time is great stage time. That makes sense. So you got to look at it as a business. Everything's a business. This thing is a business. If you look at it that way first, you'll be more successful than looking at it as, well, I'm just a funny guy. Well, we don't know that yet, but you've got to be able to negotiate. And club owners will appreciate that you acknowledge they got to make money. And you understand every aspect of their business, from the food to the bartenders to the service to the staff to everything. That you respect and understand that, and like, I'm here to help you and sell your stuff, so you keep hiring me so I can do my jokes and sell myself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So if comedians would look at it through those lenses, they would be a lot more successful than get mad and go, they won't give me stage time. Yeah, because you're acting like a freaking jerk and you don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You respect the place, you respect them, and they'll respect you in return.
Yeah, makes sense to me.
It is.
Yeah.
It's simple, but not the way everybody looks at things.
Has anybody ever asked you about the pitch before?
About what?
That question that I asked you earlier about like
I
the
can't
best visuals
say.
idea?
I don't know. I can't say
Okay.
that it is.
I'm gonna take
other
it
than
as
the
a
fact
win.
that I do that all the time. Other than that, I'm that guy.
I'm gonna take the win then.
I'm that guy.
I'm gonna give myself.
I'm that guy. I'm the guy that's pitching the worst ideas. I was like, here's what we're going to do. They're like, this is a horrible idea. I go, I know, but we're doing it.
And this is how it's not a terrible idea, actually.
Yeah, and I end up pulling it off, so.
It's about that time to wrap up this episode. Do you have anything you want to plug before I do my outro? Do so now.
Follow me at andygunnin.com. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. It's all Andy Gunnin, ANDYGUNNIN, on all my platforms. If you put in Andy Gunnin, all comes up, and just put a .com for my website, and come see me so I can have more than 10 people at a show.
Heck yeah! We're gonna fill up the entire club, man. We're gonna have a sold out show. Heck yeah! All right.
Especially after I get done filming what I'm working on right now.
Yeah.
Hopefully that will drop.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Andy. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. I'm gonna shake your hand if
no
that's
problem.
okay.
Appreciate
Y'all
it.
can't see it because it's audio, but we're shaking hands.
Thank you, Miss Rebecca.
You're welcome, Mr. Gunnin. So if you guys listening here at Krackpots We Met Downstairs, if you guys like what you heard and you want to hear more and you want to potentially come to a live show, do it. You can find our schedule at crackpotscomedy.com. Take a look at it, see what strikes your fancy. If you come here on a Friday or a Saturday show, tell them Rebecca sent you and you'll get $5 off your check. And while you are here at Krackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio, check out Dinda Mo's Unique Chocolates. She's got her own little kiosk right near the front of the club. You'll see it. You'll know where it's at. And you can also order... Ooh, I just hit the table. That's gonna sound
You can
awful.
order custom chocolate stuff.
Order Pigs in Mud. It's a little brownie shaped like a piggy that's coated in chocolate and then covered in chocolate syrup. It's so good, you guys. You can only get it at Krackpots Comedy Club, so come to a live show and order it. It's so good. You will not regret it, I promise you. And we are also filming this podcast right above Krackpots Comedy Club in an old radio station. We have one room dedicated to the podcast, but we have a couple of other rooms that aren't really being used right now.
They're haunted. This whole floor is haunted.
Some people think that.
I'm pretty sure we still have asbestos and lead all in these walls.
If you guys have like a podcast that you want to record, or maybe you have like a little horror short film that you want to film, you could do that here.
Oh, 100%.
You could reach out to nfpbookings@gmail.com and they'll give you more information about how you could potentially rent a room for a few hours.
That sounds
That's
weird.
Rent a room for a few hours? What do you mean that sounds weird?
That sounds like
What do you mean?
a written bang hotel.
I don't know what that means.
You don't know what that means?
No.
Oh my God.
What does that mean?
So a lot of hotels and motels used to be, they would sell a room for a couple hours so you could like bang the prostitute or your girlfriend on the side and then leave. Instead of banging for a full night, you pay him like $10 so you can bang a prostitute.
I didn't know
That's
that.
what that means. That's how young you are and that's how old I am. And that's how out of touch
Well,
you
I've
are
said
as
that.
well.
I've said that a couple of times at the end of each outro.
Oh,
Oh my God! Oh no! I need to rethink my outro now.
No, it's cool.
Okay. Okay. This is the end of this episode of Krackpots
You
We Met
can't bang
Downstairs.
prostitutes here. You cannot bang
No, that's
prostitutes.
not. It's just record a podcast maybe. That's it. Okay.
Record a podcast or a horror movie, not bang anybody.
No, I'm not. No, that's not a thing. At least to my knowledge, that's not a thing. I'm only here for the podcast. So,
How about change it to you can rent a room to record stuff?
yeah. Well, I said that earlier. Okay. I have to go contemplate my life choices. Bye, guys.